Hashem Svasai Tiftach Ufiagita Sacha. We are now Zochat to start Nach. We're going to start with Sefer Yehoshua. Sefer Yehoshua in Perek Aleph, the first chapter, is the Haftorah for Simchas Torah. When we're finishing and we're happy and we're thinking about how we really completed all of the Torah, we then continue on with Yehoshua. Now, why Yehoshua? In fact, Yehoshua was not the highest level of the spies when he was included among the spies. He was also the number 3 person in terms of what Moshe Rabbeinu, when he taught his students, he had Elazar, he had Pinchas, and then he had Yehoshua. So he's not the smartest one. He's not the most prestigious one. So why in the world does he have the opportunity to be Zocheh, to take on the Masorah, to be the next leader after Moshe Rabbeinu? So in fact, the Midrash talks about that what was it that was special about Yehoshua? He was Misharis Moshe. He was the servant of Moshe. Yehoshua showed us the hands-on approach to being present and being who you are in a very active way. He had no ego. He literally was the one to clean up after everybody else all the time. When Moshe Rabbeinu went up, he waited around by the mountain for 38 days, just in case Moshe would come down and he would need something. It was Yehoshua who cleaned up the shul, put away the Sidurim, made sure that everyone was okay. And all the while, why? Because when you really want to be Misharei someone, when you really want to be, the opportunity arises by living with the person. When you want to walk in the ways of the Torah, you look at Talmidei Chachamim, you look at the people that are righteous and good, not just in what they learn, but how they are. Everything that Yehoshua lived was an active lifestyle of just trying to serve his master as a way to serve Hashem. And for that reason, Yehoshua absorbed everything. He was compared to the moon. He took on all of the light of the sun. And ultimately, he was an amazing leader. You see, during his time, the Jews are actually going to get along. It's a more peaceful time, unlike what Moshe went through. Oh my goodness, he had his ups and downs, so many trials and tribulations. Does it make any sense? Moshe was the premier, he was the best. But Yehoshua was with the people. He understood and was actively involved, possibly because he wasn't perfect. And so he could identify, and they could identify. And he showed them, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You need to always be working and working hard. And so he, unlike Moshe, the Netziv talks about, that Moshe always carried his staff with him. It was a time of miraculous life where Hashem appeared to the Jews always through miracles. We had the man. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to work for the land. They didn't have to, their food just came down from heaven. They had protection of the Ananei HaKavod. They had the clouds of glory that surround them all the time. They didn't have to worry about guarding themselves. They had the Be'er, they had the of Miriam, they had the well with sweet water. They literally had it all without having to lift a finger. And you know what? There was strife, there was rebellion, there was questioning, there was confusion. During Yehoshua's time, he didn't carry a staff because he, in fact, there was always work to do. There was no more open miracles. And so you're entering into a whole new lifestyle, a new relationship with Hashem. How does one have a relationship with Hashem? Well, not that it's just given to me. It's not a passive thing. What we learn from Yehoshua is when relationships matter, you put in the time and the effort. You don't just rely on miracles. Relationships are hard work. And Yehoshua is the epitome of active hard work. And so for that reason, in this new era of what the Jews are going to go through, it is going to be Yehoshua who is going to bring them to where they need to be. And he, with all of his loyalty and his love and his dedication and his effort, he's not the smartest, he's not the brightest, he's not the most prestigious, but he certainly is the most dedicated and hardworking person in this situation. And so when he is sitting in mourning, and he is mourning for 30 days, which means that right now we are in Zion Nisan, because it's been 30 days since Moshe died on the 7th day of Adar. And while he's doing this and he's mourning significantly, he's losing out on Torah because he's forgetting it. Why? Because we have an understanding. We know this from psychology, that when someone's brain is in an emotional experience, they're overly upset, they're overly sad, their emotionality, their amygdala is triggered, then their cognitive capabilities are not as good. And so he's losing out, and it's time to stop. And Hashem says to him, okay, yes, Moshe, my Eved, the one who is dedicated, my everything, he's dead. But now it's time to get up. Ata now, come. You need to start to do your thing. Avoras hayarden hazeh. It's time to leave the bitterness behind. You have a job, you have a role. It's time to get back into your own equilibrium. And I will be with you and the people. Now, it's not an easy role act to follow. My gosh, he was with Moshe, and he loved the guy. And again, it's not so easy to transition into something, a new life, a new time. But kol makom asher tirdoch kaf raglechem, every spot that your foot treads, I will give to you. You put your kaf raglechem, you put your foot down, you make the effort. Now is a new relationship. You show me love, I will give you everything. Just like I promised to Moshe. Now Moshe didn't get it, because Moshe, that's a different era. That's a time. The Netziv says that what was so bad about Moshe, instead of speaking to the rock, he hit the rock. Because it was just a different time period. He was all about miracles, and Hashem was about something else. That now you're going to have, now there's going to be a new relationship. You're going to have to find and communicate with me differently. Now, what is promised? So it's very good. It's very, in relationships, everything should be clear. And so he's saying, look what you're going to get. You know what the prize is going to be? You're going to get from the Midbar, Lebanon, until Nahar Gadol. You're going to have the wilderness to the Lebanon River, to the Euphrates River. And, there's going to be a lot of land that you're going to get. And so we present all the rewards appropriately. Lo yatziv ish lefanecha. And no one's going to question you. Don't worry. Have self-confidence. You're the leader. Do not compare yourself to Moshe. That never works. We all have to stay in our own lane. You have to be who you're going to be. Now Moshe, why is it that we keep repeating Moshe, Moshe, Moshe? Why? Because Moshe was dedicated to the people like no one else. He was so dedicated. He loved them. He helped them. And so when someone helps, they live on forever. So yes, Moshe will live on forever. But that's not the point. I'm going to be with you, says Hashem. Lo arpecha v'lo azvecha. I will not fail you. You need to believe in yourself, and I will believe in you, and I will back you. And then comes the famous quote that is said many, many times. Chazak va'amet. Be strong and resolute. What does it mean to be chazak va'amet? So the Radak, many Mefarshim pick up on that. Chazak in your Torah. Believe in the Torah. Be strong. Cling to the principles that you know to be true about how you're supposed to be a Jew. ba'ametz or ba'amatz, and also in everything that you do that is not Torah, that is related to how you act and your role in this world, how you're kind and good and your character has to be built up. It's not enough to just be part of Torah, but you have to be strong and cling to developing yourself as a human being. Yehoshua was the prime person to say this to. Why? Because he was always with the greatest of all Talmidei Chachamim, the wisest sage of all. But Moshe was a living example of what it meant to also have good character. He was humble and never wanted to steal the thunder from his brother, and was self-deprecating and did everything for the cause. And so now Hashem is saying, okay, you do it too. You got this. You're there. You're gonna, but you have to follow in the way. Don't make up your own way. Follow the rules of people. And again, chazak va'ametz. You are going to be really, really strong now because you have a very important role. You are going to bring the people into the land. You are going to make sure that you keep to the Torah. You are going to divide up the land. You're going to help them to fight the land, and all of what they have to do, and you're going to lead them. And so it is very important that you are strong in your character and you're strong in your knowledge of the Torah. Now, then he says something very interesting. Lo yamush sefer haTorah hazeh mipicha v'hagita bo yomam v'layla. This is an important principle. This is the first time that we're told you need to study Torah. What? Okay, I could just listen to the Torah. No. The Torah can never deviate from who you are as a human being. We're not a Jew only half the day. We're a Jew all the time. How do you become a full-fledged, really educated Jew? Well, you got to study the rules. You got to learn. You got to learn the Torah. You got to learn the Nach. You got to put in your time. Now, not during the time where you are busy with the mundane and everything that you have to do, but during your free time. We're always judged, not necessarily by when our boss is standing above us. We're judged when we're on vacation. What do we do with our time? How do we use it effectively? So here, Hashem is saying, every second that you are not involved in your regular profession and career, try to learn and to be studying Torah. So that why? So that you can do everything that I tell you. If we don't know the halacha and the laws, we're certainly not going to be able to keep to them. And if you do that, if you live the life of being a Jew, az tatzliach es darkecha ba'az taskil, you will ultimately be successful. And again, chazak v'ametz, he understands the idea of a mantra, the idea of repetition and practice. You repeat yourself and repeat yourself and repeat yourself until the person can internalize the message. Be strong, be resolute. You got this. You can do it. And so with that in mind, Yehoshua goes to the officials of the people and he tells them, here's what's going to happen. You need to get yourself ready. Nothing in life comes without advanced preparation. We don't do things on one foot. Hakinu lachem tzeda. Get ready for yourself provisions. What kind of provisions? So the Malbim says that the kind of provisions that you have to get is you have to be doing tshuva. And really interesting, in the book, Rabbi Rosner mentions that Rabbi Nebenzahl said about Shlomo Zalman Auerbach's father, that he fasted for 2.5 years before he made Aliyah. Why? Because it's like, I have to be prepared. I have to be on the right level. So he fasted for a very long time so that he could be. And we also know, and this is something that we learned from when we got the Torah, we had to prepare for 3 days. And so here too, 3 days. Get everything ready. Be active and involved in the transmission of what you're going to be given. Nothing passive, only active. And then he goes on to say, and remember Reuven, Gad, and half of the Shevet of Manasseh, you guys promised you need to come through. And he reminds them, because a good leader allows for there to be a grace period where the person can prepare, and there's a plan in place. So the plan here, he goes and delineates very carefully, and he says, remember, you wanted that side of the Yarden? Well, good news, everyone, your wives, your children, your everything is going, your livestock, they're going to remain in the land on this side of the Yarden, but every one of the fighting men are going to cross over. Why? Because what is a nation if not cohesive? And so you are going to, you're going to help your brothers. That's what we do for the people that we care about. Another indication of what do we do in a good, solid relationship. And so this solid relationship, once everything is good, then you can return, then you can be all about yourself. First you give to others, then you give to yourself. And then what do the people do? They have to swallow a lot of responsibility. What did Hashem just promise Yehoshua was going to happen? It happened already. We're going to do everything that you need. It's interesting. They said Nasa v'nishma with a har kegidis, with a mountain over their head. Now, seems like it's just going pretty smoothly. So far, so good. Yehoshua's getting it a much easier situation. Is it because they have a little bit more skin in the game? They're already involved? Or is it because they want a new type of relationship with Hashem? They want a new beginning, and the foundations of what Yehoshua brings to the table is really significant. They said they are Kachol asher shamanu al Moshe kein nishma elecha. We are going to listen to you. And kol ish asher yomare apicha. Anyone who does not listen to you is going to be put to death. And then again, rak chazak be'ematz. Just be strong and resolute. And so what we see here is the beginnings of a new relationship. We're not the same people. The Masorah is a little bit more removed. Moshe was the sun. We're dealing with the moon now. But we're dealing with active involvement in a relationship with Hashem. And that is the way we start. There's no more Torah. The 5 books are done. We're on to level 2. And this is going to be everything that's written in Tanakh is written with Doros. It's written for generations. And so now we're going to shift gears to a new relationship. A relationship that is going to be a little bit less Hashem involved and a little bit more, come on guys, you can bring this. You do, you get. You don't do, you don't get. It's not just mun from the sky. And who's the perfect person to do that? Yehoshua. Yehoshua, who really took on everything from Moshe. And now he's going to live the life. He's going to actively involve. He was always the schlepper. And now he is the leader. And the people are going to respect him. They're going to protect him. But ultimately, one can get a lot of support from other places, other people. What does Hashem really want him to take in? Chazak ve'ematz. You believe in you. You be strong. You be resolute. You make sure that you're listening to Torah and character development. You got this. And that is a beautiful way to start the first Perek of Nach.